hadn't used dating apps seriously before that winter. Most of the time, I downloaded one out of boredom, talked to a few people, and then deleted again after a week. But February was slow at work. Most of my friends were busy with relationships, and the closer Valentine's Day got, the more lonely I felt. That's when I matched with Claire. Her profile didn't scream fake. She wasn't overly attractive in a model way, just a pretty in normal, everyday sense. Most of her pictures were taken outdoors, hiking trails, a lake at sunset, one where she was sitting on a fallen tree, smiling at the camera. We started talking that same night. Conversation with her felt so easy. She asked questions, actually responded to what I said instead of changing the subject. I remembered things I mentioned days later. By the end of the first week, we were talking from morning until we both fell asleep. She told me she liked quiet places, hated loud restaurants, and felt safer outdoors, where there weren't a lot of people. That should have been my first red flag, but I didn't see it that way at the time. I thought she was just shy. A few days before Valentine's Day, she suggested we finally meet. I don't really like coffee shops or bars, she said. What if we just go for a walk somewhere peaceful? There's a trail near where I live that's really pretty. I knew what she meant. It was a popular hiking area during the day. Families, joggers, people walking dogs. Nothing about it seemed dangerous. She sent me the exact location pin and said she'd be there around sunset. I even joked about how romantic it sounded. The day of the date, I bought flowers and snacks, like some cliche guy in a movie. When I pulled into the parking lot just before sunset, there were only a few cars there. I texted her that I had arrived. I grabbed the flowers and headed down the path. The further I walked, the quieter it became. The main trail slowly narrowed. The sky dimmed quickly as the sun dipped behind the trees. After about 10 minutes, I still didn't see anyone. I texted again. Hey, I might have missed you. Where are you exactly? She replied. Just a little further. I can hear you walking. That message made me pause. How can you hear me? I typed. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, and then came another reply. You're loud on the leaves. I kept walking, but a weird tension had settled into my stomach. The trail kept narrowing until it barely looked like a trail anymore. I texted her. This doesn't look like the main trail anymore. Her response came almost instantly. I like the quiet part. That's when I realized I didn't hear anything at all anymore. No birds and no cars and just no wind. Just my own breathing and the crunch of leaves. I stopped walking, and behind me a branch snapped. I turned quickly. There was nothing. Just the usual trees, shadows, and an empty trail. I laughed nervously and texted, You're not funny if you're trying to scare me. Her reply came slower this time. I'm not trying to scare you, I just wanted you alone. My heart started hammering. Where are you, Claire? A few seconds passed. Then my phone buzzed. Turn around. Slowly. I didn't want to. Every instinct screamed not to. But I did. Between 2 trees about 20 feet back stood a man. Tall, he had broad shoulders and a dark hoodie pulled low over his face. He was just watching me. Who are you? I said, my voice shaking. He took 1 slow step forward. My phone buzzed again in my hand. Same chat with Claire. Claire wasn't real. He tilted his head slightly, like he was studying me. Men trust easier when it's a woman. The calmness in his voice terrified me more than yelling would have. I turned and ran. Branches slapped my arms. Roots nearly sent me flying. I didn't follow the trail. I just ran toward where I thought the parking lot was. Behind me, footsteps pounded fast now, no longer careful. I burst into the main trail and saw the parking lot lights through the trees. I ran harder than I ever have in my life. I slammed into my car, locked the doors, and sped out of there without even buckling my seatbelt. Later at night, the dating profile was completely gone. Police told me similar reports had happened, fake profiles leading people to isolated areas, usually for robbery. sometimes worse. I met Jason in early February when every dating app suddenly turns into a Valentine's Day marketplace. His profile was simple: no shirtless mirror pics, no luxury cars, no fake motivational quotes with a Tommy Shelby picture behind them. Just normal selfies, a dog picture, and a short bio saying he was new to town. We started talking casually, but conversation with him felt different than most guys online. He wasn't pushy, he didn't flirt constantly, he talked about moving for work, not knowing anyone yet and feeling awkward being alone around the holidays. After a few days, he asked if I wanted to hang out sometime. I said, sure. When Valentine's Day came up, he suggested cooking dinner for me at his place. I don't really like restaurants on that day, he said. He sent me the address. When I looked it up, it was an older part of town. Not great, but not a place I'd call dangerous either. That night, I drove over just after 7 p.m. The street was dimly lit. Several houses looked run down. A few had boards on windows, and his place was near the end of the block. It didn't look lived in. The porch light flicked on as I parked. My phone buzzed. I see you. Come in. I felt uneasy but told myself I was being dramatic. I walked up and knocked on the door. The door opened immediately. Jason smiled like nothing was wrong. Happy Valentine's Day, he said. Inside smelled like damp wood and old dust. There was almost no furniture, just a folding table with 2 candles and plastic chairs. The walls were stained and the floor creaked loudly. I'm still fixing it up, he said quickly when he saw me looking around. I forced a smile. Then I noticed the kitchen. There was no fridge and there was no stove, just a microwave on the floor. I thought you were cooking, I asked. He shrugged casually and said, didn't feel like it anymore. That's when I noticed the hallway. Every door had a heavy lock on the outside. Why are those locked? I asked quietly. For safety, he said. I sat backwards. I think I should go. He didn't move, but his tone changed. You just got here. I'm not comfortable. He sighed slowly. You don't look like your pictures anyway. Fear shot through me. What? They were better, he said. I pushed past him and ran. He didn't grab me, he just called calmly behind me. Other girls didn't leave. I sprinted to my car and drove off, shaking so hard I could barely hold the wheel. Later that night, I looked up the address again. The house had been condemned. No one was supposed to be living there. Police records showed multiple missing person reports within a mile of that block. Love can make you hopeful, hope can make you stupid, and sometimes someone is waiting for that. I was 16 in 2016, which means it was the exact wrong age to be home alone. During the year, everyone decided clowns were suddenly funny again. My parents went out of town for a weekend in October, just a few weeks after the clown sightings started making the news. At first, it was just viral videos, people in masks standing on street corners, hiding in trees, trying to scare drivers. By the time my parents left, our town's Facebook group had already posted about 2 clown incidents, one near a school and one near a park at night. Police said it was probably teenagers, but no one was ever caught. I told myself I wasn't scared. I'd seen horror movies. I locked the doors, turned on lights, and planned to spend the night gaming. Around 9 p.m., I heard someone knock on the front door. It wasn't a pounding knock, it was a light, polite, almost hesitant knock. I froze, controller still in my hands. I wasn't expecting anyone. I walked slowly to the front window and peeked through the blinds. There was someone standing on my porch, and they were wearing a clown costume. Not a colorful one, just a dirty white mask, red paint around the mouth, and a dark outfit that looked like regular clothes under the costume. They were standing completely still, facing the door. I backed away and locked the deadbolt again, even though it was already locked. A few seconds later, the doorbell rang. I didn't answer. Then came another knock, slightly harder this time. I went upstairs and turned off my bedroom light. then crouched near the window and looked down at the porch from above. The clown was still there. He tilted his head slowly, like he was listening to me. Then he looked up, straight at my window. I dropped down out of sight, heart hammering so hard it felt like it might give me away. Suddenly downstairs I heard the sound of fingers tapping against the glass. One window at a time, slow and methodical, like they were checking. I called my parents, no answer. I texted them anyway, hands shaking, telling them someone was outside. The tapping stopped. A few seconds passed in complete silence. Then I heard something I still think about years later. The sound of my back gate opening. I realized with a surge of panic that while I'd locked the doors, I'd forgotten the gate leading to the backyard. I grabbed the heaviest thing in my room, a dumbbell, and backed into my closet, locking myself inside. From there, I could hear movement downstairs, slow footsteps on the hardwood floor. I covered my mouth to keep me from making noise. I honestly don't know how long it lasted. Minutes felt like hours. Then came a knock. Not on the front door, but on my bedroom door. It was soft and slow. 3 taps. I didn't breathe. After a while, the footsteps moved away. I heard the front door open, then close. I stayed in that closet until the sun came up. Police found muddy footprints in the backyard and a smear of red paint on my porch railing. During lockdown, walking was the only thing that kept me sane. I live alone, and when everything shut down, days blurred together. No work commute, no social plans. So every night, I went for a walk. There's a trail about 10 minutes from my apartment. Technically closed during lockdown, but no one enforced it. I told myself it was safer than walking through town. And for weeks it was uneventful, quiet, and almost peaceful. Then one night, something changed. It was late spring, just after sunset. I'd been walking for about 20 minutes when I noticed I hadn't heard another person the entire time. No voices, no footsteps, no cars, just my own breathing and the sound of gravel under my shoes. I rounded the bend in the trail and saw someone ahead of me. They were standing just off the path, facing away. At first, I thought they were maybe taking a break, and I slowed down because I didn't want to scare them. But as I got closer, they didn't move. I passed them at a distance, eyes fixed forward, telling myself not to overthink it. About 30 seconds later, I heard footsteps behind me. I was telling myself it was normal, just somebody else taking a walk. But the distance never changed. I sped up slightly, so did they. I stopped walking. The footsteps stopped too. I turned around. No one was there. I stood frozen, scanning the trees, and nothing moved. I laughed quietly at myself and turned back around. That's when I heard breathing. It was so close, I could feel it. I spun around. This time, they were there, standing less than 10 feet away. I couldn't see their face clearly, but I could tell they were smiling. "Nice night for a walk," they said. I didn't respond. I stepped backward, but they came closer and I just turned and ran. I didn't want to take a risk, and I didn't look back. I didn't stop until I reached a streetlight near my apartment complex. When I finally turned around, the trail entrance was empty.